Well, first of all, thank you very much for your connection to this ACTIVAGE Open Call webinar. I'm Alicia Cano, the person who is leading the Open Call of the ACTIVAGE. And first of all, I would like to tell you that we would like to record this webinar in order to upload this session in our webpage for the rest of the people that couldn't join us. So thank you for your time during this session, and we will. Sorry, because I heard something. We will mute all your microphones, and at the end of the session, should you have any question, please include your question in the panel, in the chat, and we will answer at the end of the session. Okay. So in this presentation, we would like to give you an overview of the ACTIVAGE project, and in particular to focus on the objectives of the Open Call. What are we looking for? How you should apply to this Open Call, and finally to comment technical aspects that you must take into account should you want to apply to the Open Call. Okay. First of all, I would like to share with you what we are looking for for this project. That it's to contribute to the older people well-being, prolonging an active and healthy life, and safeguarding the sustainability of the welfare system by application of Internet of Things technology. The idea is to improve the quality of life and the autonomy of older people using IoT technologies. So ACTIVAGE counts on a large consortium with 49 partners that represents all the stakeholders involved: supply, demand side, technological, AHA service supply, and so on. And it is developed in 9 different deployment sites in Europe, in 7 different countries. And the idea is that we would like to create evidence about 9 different use cases, which are focused in 4 different areas. First one is living safe at home. The second focus on living outdoors with freedom. Promote social connections, and finally prevent mental disease and taking care of disease. So this project and the current status of this project is that we are recruiting different users in the different deployment sites, and we would like to create this evidence of the positive impact of this technology, IoT technology, to them. And now with this Open Call, we open the opportunity to include third parties, SMEs and startups, including their technology, their complement IoT technology, in order to increase this new market, AHA IoT market. And this offers you the opportunity to assess your technology in this market, in the active and healthy aging. This gives you also the opportunity to access to this evidence that we are creating in the project, in order to get a better understanding of the current needs and gaps of the current AHA services. So the objective of this Open Call is to deploy innovative and complement IoT solutions using the mature deployment in the current IoT ecosystem for testing, demonstrate and initial market take. So we are looking for startups and SMEs individual European startups and SMEs, which are registered in a member of an European Union or in an Horizon 2020 associated countries. And we will accept only one proposal per institution. And it's important that the solution that you apply must provide mature IoT technology. All the proposal must be written in English. The open call is articulated in different challenges, in 11+1 challenges, which your solution should apply to. Here we can show you some of them. First one, lifestyle coaching motivation. And the idea is to have an IoT solutions able to improve the current use case focus on lifestyle coaching. We have others like AHA mobility services, how to improve the mobility of older people in their environment in a safety way. Intelligent environment monitoring. For example, how your solution is able to detect and inform about some specific levels of allergens and so on in a non-intrusive way to our users. Here we can see other different challenges about how to prevent mental disease or taking care disease. Okay. And other different challenges focus on cognitive stimulations, or how your solution could improve or eliminate some barriers for older people, for example, avoiding users password or authentication ways. And in the document that we have created, like a guide for the applicant, you can see all the challenges more in detail. And one important thing is that there is an open challenges where if your solution doesn't match to a specific challenge, you have the opportunity to apply to these open challenges and explain what is the impact that you expect with these solutions in these new needs. Okay. The timeline of the ACTIVAGE Open Call was launched in July, and the deadline for applications will be 31st of October. And after that, we will have a period of 1 month, more or less, for the evaluation of all the proposals. And we will have a final list of the winners and a score of all the proposals, and a final list of the proposals. And we will publish this final list and contact to the winners in order to define the commitments with all of them, and to sign an appropriate agreement between the deployment sites and the SMEs or startups. And the idea is to have a maximum. The idea is to have a maximum of 10 funded projects, and they will develop their project during 12 months, and they will receive a maximum of 60,000 euros. An important remark is that the open call will fund 70% of the project expected costs. Okay? What is the application process? Basically, first of all, you have to register in our webpage and download all the required information. Here you can see our webpage, and the information that you can download basically are 4 different documents. One is technical information about what are the technical requirements that you have to be sure to complete. And the other one is the guide for applicants, where you can see what are the challenges, what are the timelines, what are all the things that you have to complete. And finally, a third document that is the template that you have to complete, including different sections with a limited number of pages, and also a third document where you have to include the financial information in terms of what is the cost of your project, and what is the budget that you will need to develop the project during these 12 months. Just to remark that it's really important to see in detail which are the challenges, because you must apply to a specific challenge, and to identify which are the scope and what we are looking for. You can see that the description is quite open, so we don't want to be very restrict about the things that you can submit. And also, you can see also the deployment site who are interested in this scope. So we will suggest you to include also in which deployment site you would like to deploy your solution. Okay. Once you identify the challenge and the deployment site and all the deployment sites involved in this challenge, I will suggest to see in detail, to read in detail the description of each deployment site in terms of the number of users, the technology that each deployment site currently are using, or the type of information, the data that currently is collecting. In this way, you will be able to adapt your description, your submission, to your proposal according to the terms of each deployment site. Finally, once you have all the document ready, you have to submit to our portal web, where you can first of all register, and secondly include the required information, including the proposal and also the budget file. After that, the evaluation process will be done by an open call review board formed by independent members. This means that none of the current partners in the ACTIVAGE project will be included in this open call review board. Basically, they will evaluate the proposals according to these 4 points. Excellence in terms of what is the value proposition of your proposal and how your idea improve or solve the ACTIVAGE challenge. In this case, should you have a proposal that want to apply to an open challenge, and you have to describe also the type of the needs and the problems that you would like to solve. Secondly, implementation in terms of the quality and feasibility of your proposals. So you have to include information about the team, the work plan, and also the budget. And the third point, impact, who will benefit from this implementation, and what is the deployment site that you will be involved. Okay. And finally, sustainability. The idea is to be sure that you have an appropriate commitment to give sustainability with these solutions once the project finishes. Okay. I would like to give the floor to Leven Gurgen, who is our IoT manager, and who will be the person that will give you a short explanation about the interoperability and technical requirements that you must take into account. Leven.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we heard you.
Okay, hello everyone. So Alicia, I would let you maybe to go forward in the slides since I don't have the control on the slides. So as Alicia mentioned, I'm in charge of ensuring the coherence in the project in terms of adopted IoT platforms and solutions. We have here also some other colleagues that are involved in the technical aspect of the project, which are with us in the call. So if there is any further technical questions, we can try to help. So I will try to be quite brief in terms of technical aspects that we have in the IoTS project. So when we talk about IoTS, actually the ACTIVAGE IoT ecosystem suite, how we call it, it's an interoperability framework to efficiently link different, let's say, assets. So they are hardware, sensors, and actuators that are deployed either in the home environment or institutions, care giver institutions, IoT platforms, data analytics or visualization tools, and on top of all of these, the applications that can be delivered in form of mobile apps or PC type of applications. So IoTS, the focus of IoTS is to provide methodologies and tools for accelerating those deployments, reducing development efforts, and in addition to this, creating a vibrant AHA ecosystem with its marketplace that I will give a bit more information about that. So the main focus actually in this next slide, we will see that we have this overall architecture in which, as mentioned, IoTS tries to link all of these different components. At the bottom layer, we can see indeed the hardware devices, and we have a kind of software level which makes the kind of interconnection between those devices to the applications. There have been a quite number of IoT platforms that have been developed recently, and in this project we are using in particular 7 of them, as you see here, this Fireware IoT, Open IoT, etc. And what we are doing in the IoTS actually is not yet creating another platform, but we are providing rather an interoperability layer, what we call this semantic interoperability layer, which makes those different platforms interoperable. I will go a bit more in detail about the objectives of this interoperability, but we have decided that currently there are like 150 or more than 150 IoT platforms in the market, and each one has its own ecosystem, own APIs. So we do not want to create yet another one, but rather we want that the existing platforms continue with their ecosystems, with their developers, but we rather adopted a federation approach where we could indeed make benefit of each kind of unique features of each platform. So this is the main philosophy behind the IoTS. And on top of that, we have a certain number of APIs that will allow interacting with the IoTS core services, in particular these development deployment tools, data analytics and visualization tools, as well as ACTIVAGE marketplace, in which we aim at building an ecosystem, a community of applications related to AHA that can be accessible via this marketplace. So if you go to the next slide. So the interoperability is the core concept of the project. Let's say we have these heterogeneous devices which are being connected to specific gateways, and different IoT platforms can deal with these specific gateways. So here we can imagine a certain number of IoT related protocols that are in the market currently that can be deployed in the building or home environments. So in order to avoid these silos of applications that are specific to a given protocol, we want to federate all these different IoT platforms, and on top of this ACTIVAGE interoperability layer, those applications, once built, they could be seamlessly, transparently can be deployed and used in other deployment sites. In this following slides, I will give a couple of examples about this interoperability concept that we expect that indeed the open call applicants will be providing us a way of validating that interoperability concept, and hopefully they will get benefit from that interoperability concept. So if you can go to the next slide. Again, please. Yes, so the first example is, for instance, there can be one IoT platform that provides already some connectivity to a given IoT device or IoT protocol. If we make this indeed platform interoperable with the other IoT platforms within a given unique framework, that other IoT platform would benefit transparently the new devices supported by the other platform. So it means that here the platform A does not need to build kind of drivers or using APIs, making translation of data models for the device supported by platform B. And this is also true and additional platforms, could be C, D, E, F, etc. So that by being compatible with this IoTS level, we could provide this immediate support for additional devices for a given IoT platform, which is A here. Another interoperability example is, if you can click 2 times, Alicia. Again, yeah. Another is that some of the platforms, not necessarily devices, but some platforms, they can provide services. It can be data analysis services, or it can be visualization services, some event detection services. Those services, by being compliant with IoTS, that would make benefit to the whole IoTS ecosystem. And if you can go to the next one, again 2 times. The last example is about applications using IoTS APIs directly. It means that one application developed by using these IoTS APIs can be, again, seamlessly deployed in different deployment sites and can be used for gathering applications data coming from different deployment sites. So these are 3 interoperability examples that we are using to kind of to promote the interoperability concept. So next slide, please. So these are the benefits that I mentioned. We are really looking at developed once, deployed everywhere approach. So as I mentioned, we want to keep the platform's ecosystem same. We do not want to create again another platform, but to federate and make use of the unique features of each platform by the IoTS ecosystem. Next one. So this is the overall architecture. I will probably not go into detail within the technical part, but just this is to say that for your solutions, if you are coming, for instance, with a new IoT platform, you will probably need to build a new bridge for the to be compliant with IoTS. If you are bringing with new devices that are providing some innovative features, like, I don't know, it can be fall detection, or it can be other types of event detection devices, probably coupled with a physical gateway or physical IoT platform. In that sense, you will need to use indeed our APIs to and data models to make it compatible with the IoTS ecosystem. Or you can come with kind of visualization tools or other analysis tools that could be interesting for the project. In that case, you will be able to use our APIs to get plugged in into the already existing IoTS development and deployment tools. You can go to this next slide. Yeah, so in terms of tools, we are working on a certain number of tools. So in order to help the newcomers to build these bridges, for example, to make them compliant with the IoTS. So these development tools, for instance, or you want to make benefit of ACTIVAGE data analysis or visualization tools. So this can be something that you can reuse from the project as well. And a certain number of other tools that we are building in the project. So the first versions of these will be available by the open call launch, which will be January, if I'm not wrong. So we will have those alpha versions. So this is a project of 42 months. So we will have certainly additional versions, but at least for the open call, we will have a certain number of tools that will be already available. If you can continue, another important part is indeed maybe the next one, the marketplace that I mentioned. So we are, yes, that next one. The marketplace, we are aiming at being a one-stop shop for the ACTIVAGE for end users and applications. The objective is to make, discover and match the applications and service offering from providers so that these two supply and demand side can meet in a kind of digital marketplace. So it will allow the business entities to register, to publish, and to publish their solutions, and for the users to retrieve, to search for these innovative applications. It will provide a certain number of features like reviewing, rating, recommendations, and give also information about how to easily develop new application services. In the next couple of slides, there are some screenshots about the marketplace. So we expect that indeed by joining to ACTIVAGE ecosystem, the application developers, solution providers will also benefit from this marketplace environment. This is all that I wanted to say. If you want, Alicia, there are a couple of screenshots about the marketplace. And
sorry, Leven.
yeah?
We
Yes,
lost.
okay.
We have lost. Sorry. Yes, but basically, what I can understand that you basically just completed the presentation related to the technical part.
Exactly. Yeah. I was saying that there are a couple of slides about the screenshot about this marketplace, but yeah, I'm basically done.
Okay. So. Just, I would like to close the presentation with some tips to take into account for the proposals. And once we finish this part, we can start with the questions related to the administrative budget and also to the technical aspect. First of all, just to remark, we need only one proposal for institution. And it's really important to read each challenge and explain how your proposal will answer this challenge and what is the value proposition for this challenge. Please read also in details each deployment site and which are the technical and functionalities requirements for each deployment site that is interesting for these proposals, and this will help you to prepare the proposal. Additionally, only for the open challenge, these proposals must include a short description of the need to answer, and also how this need can be also identified in the current ACTIVAGE use cases and in which deployment site we can find it. Just two important points. One related to the clearly and consistently for the excellence and implementation. What is the main differentiator or the value of your proposition compared to the state of the arts? Your previous experience, your background using this solution in real population or scenarios, and explain also the maturity of your product or solution. It's also really important to include the size of your deployment. You can see the total number of users of each deployment site, and you should suggest, according to the maximum budget, what is the number of users that you can answer with your solutions. And finally, review in detail the budget template, where you have to include all the cost that will be allocated for deploy, test, and support during these 12 months. And don't forget also to describe the sustainability of your solution. Basically, that's all the key points about the open call. And now it's your turn. So you have any questions, please include your question in the chat in our panel, and we will see and try to answer. Okay, we have a first question. That it's if our solution will need to use some physical devices like tables or screens, the cost of the devices must be included in the proposal. Yes, you should also to include some part of the devices that you have to use for it. In terms of that these devices, these sensors, will be used for the deploy of the solutions, of your solutions in the deployment side. I don't know. Yes, we have also another question. Maybe Levent, you could answer. The question is, it seems that the technical platform are more oriented to data collection than control actuators. Am I true?
It depends on the use cases. Indeed, mainly we are kind of collecting data. We are passing them through some algorithms to detect some high-level events or feeding them for some learning algorithms. And then we have kind of simple actuators which can be sending some alarms or notification messages, or we have some scenarios where we turn on lights, etc. So actuation is there, but in terms of actions, indeed we can consider that they are limited to actions like alerts or some basic actions, I would say. So if there's, I don't know if there's any complementary comments from the other colleagues, but mainly as far as I saw in the use cases in the deployment sites, we are mainly collecting data, gathering some, learning about some events taking place, and giving decisions and making some actions. About the cloud approach, not really, because in some of the cases and in several of the cases, the decisions are being done at the platform level, so at the gateway level. So they are not necessarily going outside of the environment, which is also a restriction in some cases, that we do not want that data goes outside of, in some cases, home environments, and in some cases in this institutional level. Not all data we can have in the cloud some processing. It can be some anonymized data to make some statistics or to run some more algorithms that needs more computing power. But mainly it is being processed at the local levels.
Thank you, Levent. There is another question the challenges that says each challenge specifies the deployment site interesting. Is it possible to choose for a specific challenge another deployment site different to the related for this specific challenge? Well, these challenges were created based on the current deployment site needs. So the deployment site that currently is working or will be involved in each challenges is because there is a clear need aligned with the challenge. So initially, only the deployment site that appears in this table will be the place where you will have to deploy your solution. So in this case, I will suggest to adjust your solution to the current deployment site that are interesting to the challenges. There is a second question about when two applications and when two platforms are involved, it's a cloud. No, it's not a question. It's a comment. No. Here we have another question. Indication about the use case protocol or a specific need for chronic patients. We have some indications about the use cases where the deployment site is involved in each deployment site chart, but maybe it's something that we can include also some specific information about each use case. This use case is available in our web page. Maybe it's something that we can include. Basically, for chronic patients, is something that we open the possibility to the SMEs and startups to offer possibilities to help these patients, these users, these older users, to improve self-management of the chronic disease. This is the reason why we didn't identify just one specific profile patients. Just it's quite open. It could be diabetes, heart failure. It could be patients with problems for respiratory. So we are quite open in this case. It's true that if you see the deployment site where it's involved, like Galicia and Italy, you can see that the profile is ictus, stroke, and patients with problems with arrhythmia. We have another question. What level of detail about technical information should be included in the application? I don't know if Leven would like to answer, or but basically
yeah, actually the information needed is about the page limit that we may have. I don't know exactly the template which is provided by by this purpose. I would say necessary information that will allow us kind of evaluating the relevance of the proposed approach with the ACTIVAGE IoT framework. Alicia, is there any page limit for the different sections? Template?
Yes, there is a limit of the per each section, but basically is to be sure that the application that you offer, the top of IoT or behind IoT is connected to the IoT gateway. It's to be sure that it will be appropriately integrated to the platform, and that we can collect all data integrated. Okay. There is another question about the devices. It's true, my proposal covers a challenge that has 3 different deployment sites, and that is a total of 2,000 people involved. That means that I have to include the cost of 2,000 devices. Well, it's something that you don't have to cover all the users involved in each deployment site. According to the total cost of the total budget available for the open call, you should be able to justify the number of users that you could cover in appropriate way. For example, it's something that could be 10, 15, or 50 users. It will depend on the type of the solutions. But yes, of course, it's something that you can include in your budget template. There is another question. We have to contribute to the ACTIVAGE project. Can we know what are the current applications? Sorry, I don't understand the question. In terms of technical applications, or in terms of how are we currently applicate the project in other people? Because in the first part of the guide for applicants, you can see how we are applying this IoT technology in the different deployment sites, and what are the kind of AHA services, this active and healthy agent services, that currently we are delivering to our older adults. Basically, the idea is to test. We are testing and evaluating different use cases in different deployment sites, which main idea is to prolong the independent life in their current environment and improve their quality of life. If an ACTIVAGE partner happens to be customer of the proposer, is this considered affiliation? Well, it's in this case no, because the restriction is that partners that currently is working in the ACTIVAGE consortium cannot be participate as in the open call. In this case, you have a customer, but there is no current link between as a partner of the ACTIVAGE project. Third one, is it possible to have access to more specific technical information of how to build SealBridge? I guess it will be done using REST APIs, right?
I have a comment on this. Hi, it's Nick Klanis here from CERT. I'm a technical partner of ACTIVAGE. So, yes, of course, the SealBridges are based on the REST protocol. However, if a new service is offered and this service is based on one of the seven IoT platforms that we currently support, we don't need to develop any new bridge in the semantic interoperability layer. It should be automatically supported, because we have already implemented these bridges for the seven platforms.
Thank you.
Hi, Alicia, here is Carlos. Sorry, because I have lost the network when I was going to answer the question. Just one comment. There will be if needed, there will be an example bridge available. Okay, so they are based in REST APIs, but what Nick has said is what as it is. You know, if you are going to use a platform that is among the 7 that we have developed the bridges, you don't need to develop a bridge.
Okay, thank you, Carlos, for your contribution. We have another question. Are there some priority variables in the monitoring of people? Well, in general, we are monitoring a lot of data from people in terms of behavior, activity, yes, pressure and heart pressure and in general quality of life. But each deployment site, and in particular each use case, is focused on monitoring some specific data, able to give a specific service according to this interpretation data. Okay. Okay. It seems that maybe the use cases and the deployment site is not yet really clear. Maybe if, it could be useful to create a specific document about it, where you can see more in detail what we are doing in each deployment site, okay, and what we are doing in each use case, and in this case you will be able to give a better approach for your proposal. I will share with all of you in the website, and also in your email. I will send you by email. If the proposal has hardware integrated by the company itself as part of its solution, is it possible to allocate its retail price without taxes in the budget? Well, I don't have the answer to this. I don't know if Carlos, you have a previous experience with this. If you can answer, otherwise I will check this question and answer in our web page.
I don't have, because as you know, when we have justified the project in our open call, it has not been in this way. So I don't have a exact answer about this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Probably then we can check with the legal people, and we can put it in the facts.
Yes. Yes, we will approach in this way, and we will answer and include in the web page. Okay.
If in any case, just one comment. In theory, you are third parties, and you will have to justify the budget to the entity that is providing you the money. Okay, so in theory, VAT, as far as I know, is not eligible. So probably you will have to put the retail price without taxes. Okay, so but in any case, we will cross check.
Yes, thank you, Carlos. I don't know if you have any additional question. Well, in this case, we will close the webinar. Finally, should you have any questions or doubt till the end of the open call, please send us to our email, opencall@activageproject.eu. And finally, thank you very much for your time and your question, your interest in the open call. We will update and upload this webinar and questions that will be answered, and also the information about the use cases and deployment side. Okay. So thank you very much to all of you. Bye bye.